السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعزائي الطلاب، اليوم راح نتحدث عن meaning and information. Then we will talk inshallah about the semantic theory, then the difference between the utterance and the sentence. Before starting with meaning and information, I would like to ask you a question. Do you think that all sentences and utterances have the informational function? We know that we use the utterances and the sentences in order to what? To convey the information, in order to communicate with people. The main goal behind using the words and behind using the sentences, utterances, is to convey the information and to communicate with other people. But not all the time that the sentences and even the utterances have the informational function. Sometimes we have utterances and sentences that do not convey information, but the sole function of them is to strengthen or reinforce the social relationship among people. So if you say to someone, it is cold today, this is a conversation starter. It is not information conveyed to the hearer or to the person near to you. When you say, for example, Assalamu alaikum, you are greeting people, but you are not conveying information. So this is an utterance. This is an utterance without the informational function, rather than it is the function of strengthening the social relationship. So not all the sentences and the utterances have the informational function. Some sentences and utterances, their sole function is to strengthen the social relationship. This is the main difference between the sentences that are just for the strengthening of social relationship and the sentences and utterances for information. If you say to someone, for example, Baghdad is bigger than Mosul, for example, and this way you are conveying information. When you say to someone the sun is bigger than the moon, you are conveying information to that person, and this is informative utterance. But when you say to someone Assalamu alaikum, this is not informative utterances, but it is social relation strengthening utterance. Okay. This is the main difference between meaning and information. Uh, Now we want to talk about the semantic theory. The semantic theory is applicable to all languages, not to one language alone. So, what is said about Arabic language, what is said about English language is applicable to other languages. It is applicable to Chinese language, it's applicable to French language. When we say something about semantics in Arabic language, we have also something in semantics about English language and the other languages. So semantics is something universal. So semantics is a general science that deals with all languages. It deals with all languages, not with one language or with single language. The example may be in a certain language, but the semantic theory itself applies to all languages. Even we use the examples in a certain language, but the semantic theory applicable to all languages, not only to one language. All that has been said, for example, about the English language is applicable to French language, applicable to Chinese language, according to the semantic theory that concerns with the languages. As the chemical theory, for example, is universal, as the physical theory is universal, also the semantic theory is something universal as well. That say it is applicable to all languages. In semantic theory, we have the a triangle of meaning. We have M1, M2, and M3. M1 means meaning number one, which is sentence meaning. Then M2, it is the speaker's meaning. Then M3, which is the hearer's meaning. And these meanings are not only in English language or Arabic language, but they are also in other languages like the Chinese language, the French language. It is applicable to all languages. Now let us talk about the sentence and utterance. What is the difference between a sentence and utterance? A sentence is a semantic unit, has several definitions. Here in semantics, a special definition is needed. A sentence is an ideal combination of words. What's meant by combination? It means that we gather words together in order to make a sentence. So a sentence is made of words. So words are put together according to the syntactic rules in order to make that sentence. So it is ideal combination of words connected together horizontally. Okay, it is not possible to have a sentence which is connected vertically, but we have sentences and they are of words connected together in a horizontal way in accordance with special syntactic rules حسب قواعد نحوية خاصة بها. So in accordance with special syntactic rules, and it is realized in the spoken or written form. So a sentence can be realized يمكن تحقيقها can be realized according to the spoken or according to the written form. In contrast, the utterance could be one word or more. How? An utterance can be one word if we utter it like, for example, go. This is an utterance. Or more, a whole sentence or part of a sentence. A sentence can be one utterance or more than one utterance, according to the speaker, according to the pauses made by the speaker. So when the speaker utters a sentence, for example, in one pause, this is an utterance of one sentence. But sometimes the speaker utters the sentence with 3 or 4 pauses and make more than four utterances from one sentence. So one sentence can be realized by different types of utterances. By the way, the utterance is highly affected by the context, highly affected by the speaker, it's highly affected by the relationship between the speaker and the listener. It's highly affected by the context of situation. If we have a sentence like the boy answered all the questions by himself, this sentence could be one utterance if it is spoken with one pause before and after. The same sentence could be 8 utterances. If a pause comes after every word. We say a word, then we make what? A pause. We say another word, then we make a pause. So it is 8 utterances. It could be 2 utterances or more, depending on how it is spoken. So a sentence can be more than one utterance, depending on how it is spoken. Therefore, we have some differences between a sentence and utterance. In fact, in this book, we have 5 differences between the utterance and the sentence. The first difference is that sentence is something abstract, while the utterance is something concrete. The sentence is something abstract, while the utterance is something real speech attached to a certain place. So the sentence is something abstract, while the utterance, as you hear the utterance, it is something what? It is something real, a real speech attached. It is attached to a certain place, time, speaker, hearer, and situation. So look here, dear student, the utterance is affected by the place, it is affected by the time, it is affected by the speaker, affected by the hearer, and even the situation in which it is said. Number 2, the sentence is a complete syntactic unit. A sentence is a complete syntactic unit. يعني إنها قطعة صغيرة من المادة النحوية لكنها قطعة متكاملة. A complete syntactic unit، وحدة متكاملة، وحدة نحوية متكاملة. While the utterance, as I said before to you, can be part of sentence or a whole sentence according to the pauses made by the speaker. The sentence is a complete syntactic unit, whereas the utterance may be syntactically complete, maybe look here, maybe syntactically complete or not, since it may be only a part of a sentence. It may be a part of a sentence and thus it is incomplete syntactic unit. So the utterance can be complete and incomplete syntactic unit, while the sentence it is a complete syntactic unit. Number three of the differences between the utterance and the sentence is turned real through the utterance. The sentence is turned real through the utterance، يعني نحولها إلى شيء حقيقي ملموس مسموع من خلال الutterance. So we have a sentence but it is turned real through what? Through the utterance. Number four, the same sentence can be turned into one utterance or more. The same sentence can be turned، يمكن تحويلها إلى one utterance or more than one utterance depending on the number of pauses. So according to the number of pauses, we have what? A number of utterances. According to the number of pauses made during saying the sentence. So we say a sentence, but according to the pauses made, we have different or big number of utterances. Number five and the last difference between the utterance and a sentence, the same sentence can be realized through millions of utterances. The same sentence, according to the pauses, according to the voice tone, according to the facial expressions, according to the movements, the gestures, all of these things affect the utterances. That's why I said to you, to predict the meaning of the utterance is very difficult for the hearer. So the same sentence can be realized through millions of utterances. Whenever the sentence is spoken, it becomes a new, different utterance, since every utterance has a different situation. The same sentence, if it has different situation in which it is said, it has another meaning, it has another function. So every sentence has different situation: speaker, hearer, time, a place, occasion. So it is what depended on these factors: the speaker, the hearer, the time, the place, occasion, in order to get the meaning of that utterance. And different phonetic qualities: stress, intonation, articulation, all these phonetic qualities affect the meaning of the utterance. So these are the differences between the sentence and utterance. Inshallah, we will talk about the sentence and the proposition next lecture. And we will talk, inshallah, about proposition, sentence, and utterance and the differences among these things. Thank you very much for listening. Mr. Essam,